Ladies and gentlemen, it's Georges St-Pierre.
I can't believe it.
This is such a surreal moment for me. I grew up watching you, GSP.
The stuff that you're doing in wrestling is pretty amazing. Now that I'm older, I'm watching him. It's crazy.
26-2 record. The only people that ever beat you were both named Matt.
Yeah, it's my kryptonite. But I beat them after, so it's okay. I went hunting.
You got in some deep trouble for that one.
People, they eat processed food where they farm chicken, they treat them very bad, and now they're gonna complain about what I did. They're the hypocrite. The problem nowadays is with AI. Like you can make someone doing a movie, and
I saw you in one the other day.
A guy that has a good spinning back kick, my friend, you get hit with it, you're gone.
Boom. Who are the best guys right now?
John Jones, Tom Aspinall.
Why is that fight not happening? You can say it, GSP. Go for it. Come on, say what you want to say. All right, well, if we're rolling, then it seems like a good time for a chant.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
GSP, 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 GSP. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Georges St-Pierre.
I can't believe it. The GOAT. The GOAT.
Crazy. One of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. Dude, this is such a surreal moment for me. I grew up watching you, GSP.
God, they make me feel so old now.
No, because you're still very young.
But
you're still very young. We Googled your age this morning.
Oh, thank you, man. Listen, I was in Montreal last time I saw you. You were at a wrestling event. Sami Zayn was doing the grand finale. It was amazing, man. Doing some flip and everything, man.
Yeah, sounds like me.
Have you done gymnastic growing up?
I have not. My mom was a gymnast, so she has it in her blood, and I think by default.
That's it.
Yeah. but you've done gymnastics.
Well, I've started when I was like 28 years old, so I started too late.
Yeah,
but
tough sport, man.
Yeah, it's very tough. But the stuff that you're doing while you're in wrestling is pretty amazing. I really thought you were a gymnast.
On, enough about me.
No,
I can't stay humble, brother.
Did you see what just happened there? This man came on the show, and the first thing he did was ask about you. This is the GSP I know. This is a good friend of mine, a fellow commentator.
No, it's funny because he said that he grew up watching me. Then now that I'm older, I'm watching him. It's crazy. Entertainment,
That's
at
crazy.
its best right here.
So, dude, we're at Fanatics Fest here in New York. And man, have you walked around the floor here?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So it's huge, such a big event. I don't know if you've met Michael Rubin, the CEO of Fanatics, but I just ran into him. And I told him it's really inspiring because like to build something like this in the sports and collectibles industry that hasn't been done before is so cool. And there's so many young people walking around here who are like, opening the first collectible cards or want to be like a sports guy, people who watch you, people who watch me maybe. And man, like I said, I watched you growing up. Like I've been a fight fan for pretty much my whole life. And my whole family was obsessed with you. And dude, George, one day I think we were on a road trip, like in the middle of nowhere. And we went in this fast food restaurant and you were there, dude.
No.
You were there.
I love fast food.
Yes. It was a place that I was like shocked to see you. And that makes sense.
Listen, was it at like 3 a.m. in the morning?
Yes, George.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
After a club. Yeah, that's the best food.
That's crazy.
Listen, that's the best time to have a fast food. It's after, when you go out,
of
have
course.
a few drinks.
What's your go-to?
Well, I like a poutine. A poutine, it's a French Canadian. Yeah, it's French fries with cheese and a gravy. It's a French Canadian thing that we have in Quebec.
Yes.
This is my favorite. And there's different kind of poutine. My favorite.
The way you're saying that is slightly sexual, George. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's the best, man.
But where do you get it if you want to get it in the States?
You can't have it. You can.
No, they have some in LA.
Really?
Yeah, there's poutine in LA.
But in US normally I will go to a cheeseburger or something. A burger with French fries.
I know you guys are best friends. Maybe you don't know this though, but Mike actually has his own burger shop. That's actually starting to open up. It's called 1010 Burger.
You gotta try it, dude.
It's called 1010 Burger because it's a 10 out of 10 burger. He rates burgers and has a burger review channel.
I want to taste it, man.
You should.
Yeah.
Hey, can he come to the Hamptons with us?
Are
you still partying these days? Yeah, right?
No, but it doesn't have to be a party. Look, I can, I love fast food. I can proclaim myself a burger specialist, a burger expert. So I will give you an honest assessment.
Yeah. You never told me this.
I went all around the world. I went to the best burger I ever had. Okay, it was in Austin, Texas. You know,
Which
That was-
one?
the
NADC.
NADC.
Yeah,
That's
shout out
the one.
Philip. Shout out Philip.
Shout- yeah.
He's incredible, great chef. Philip with Sushi by Scratch and NADC. Rogan had a burger there.
Yes.
How come you didn't tell me this in all our days working?
I
together?
didn't know you were a fan of burger. I didn't know you had a.
Oh,
you know,
he's
It's my
the
whole
fan.
identity.
So I want to try your burger. I'll give you a rate. I give you an honest assessment.
Are you
Yes.
busy? Are you busy tomorrow night? Oh, you're flying tomorrow.
I'll be here tomorrow.
Why don't you cancel your trip tomorrow night and come with us to the Hamptons to a music festival?
Man, I would love. I have commitment. I have to go. But man,
What's
we'll
the
pay-
commitment?
We'll
Just-
pay more than that.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a family thing. I have no choice.
Oh,
you know? Yeah. But
okay.
bro, I wanna do it, man. Trust me. I really want to try it.
Hey,
I
George.
love it.
George.
I love burgers. It's my go-to thing. And a lot of people don't know that. Like, oh, you're an athlete. You're still in shape. Yeah. But it's okay to have a burger, but as long as you burn it, you know, like I put in the work. So
What's your favorite kind of? Because it's a smash burger. It's
Yeah.
a double smash burger, potato bun, 2 slices of American
Oh.
cheese, a sauce, pickles, onions. It's phenomenal.
That's how I like it, you know, with a lot of sauce, a lot of cheese,
Oh,
you know,
you're
greasy, you know,
done.
juicy. That's what I like.
we should add GSP's
Yeah.
poutine to the menu
Yes.
Bro, poutine, it's
too.
very good. It
That's dirty. The way you're saying it, dude.
most of American people have no idea. I'm sure it could turn into something very successful. A poutine, and you can add poutine. You can make there's certain type of poutine. My favorite one is called a T-Rex. They put like smoked meat on top of it,
Ooh.
like gravy. And man, it's amazing.
You
Yeah.
said you bring up T-Rex, by the way, which there's another topic that we're going to talk a lot about today, dude. You're because we got to talk about fighting, obviously, but you're a dinosaur fanatic. No pun intended, for lack of a better word. You're a dinosaur fanatic, and so is Logan. Did you know this?
Really? Yeah, I didn't know.
Tell him what you own.
Oh, bro, I'm obsessed with dinosaurs. My prized possession is a 66 million year old Triceratops.
Really?
Yeah, I have it in my foyer. His name is Dudley.
No way.
Yeah, it was found in Wyoming, and I also have a 8-foot tall duck-billed dinosaur leg. I have like
hadrosaur.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. Hadrosaur. And I also have like 4 T-Rex teeth. I love dinosaurs.
Wow.
I'm obsessed. And I saw actually that you travel the world digging up dinosaur fossils.
Yeah, I did it because it was a pilot for a show called Boneyard. It ended up not working because they wanted to make the show about me looking for dinosaurs, but me, I wanted to make the show about dinosaurs. So they wanted me to do. I mean, it was a great thing. It was during my break of 4 years. I really enjoyed it. It allows me to travel the world and meet great paleontologists, microbiologists, and man, I had a blast. I went on a site in Argentina, in Patagonia region. I'm not kidding you. I went there, and you have to look where you step because it was full of fossilized eggshell of titanosaurs.
Oh my God.
There were thousands and thousands. It
No
was
way.
it was an
What?
amazing sight. Yeah. Amazing sight.
Eggshells? Or
Fossilized eggshell that have probably been covered by a flood of mud.
Yep.
That now it's you can see it. It's crazy.
How cool was it?
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I went on a site. It was in I think it was in North Dakota. It was what appears to be like sort of a. They don't know. They were like working on it while I was there, and it was with Professor Pearson and. It happens to be like a sort of I don't know if it was a feeding nest of Tyrannosaurus because they had like femur bones of Triceratops slash and break in half, like but what could only be Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Well,
And Tyrannosaurus teeth everywhere was
That's sick. You know they shed their teeth.
They shed.
So they shed their teeth multiple times in a lifetime.
It regrows.
And then it regrows. Yeah. And the Triceratops, actually, some people have named it the T-Rex killer because the Triceratops and the Tyrannosaurus are assumed to have fought before, and sometimes the Tyrannosaurus would feed on the Triceratops. But since the Triceratops has such a low center of gravity and those big horns, it could sometimes kill T-Rex. And they've been actually fossilized fighting before. There's a piece called The Fighting Dinosaurs or The Dueling Dinos.
If you have to go back in time, okay, I'm sorry, it's kind of a geeky conversation.
No, I love this shit.
You wanted to go back in time, and all time could be today, any era. Which animal fight would you like to witness outside of Tyrannosaurus Rex against Triceratops, and which, by the way, they probably fought in group. Probably not like one-on-one. Now
Yeah.
we know that they probably went like in a group, similar to lion against bull. But which other species? I would have loved to see. I would have loved to see Giganotosaur against Titanosaurs.
How do they even fight? Because they're both
From what I've learned and what it's believed, they had a different tactics than T-Rex. T-Rex was bone crushing bites, you know, like it crushed everything. But Giganotosaur, when it hunted Titanosaurs, probably went and packed and took slice of meat, like a little bit like piranhas.
Wait.
Piranhas, and they gang up on one individual, and then until it collapsed, and then they.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they know they coexisted, and it must have been an incredible sight if you could go back in time and see how they hunted. It was insane.
I don't think I have anything in my life that I'm as passionate about as he is about these dinosaurs fighting right now.
Or
I'm so jealous.
How about the king of the sea, the megalodon?
Oh, the
and
megalodon,
Leviathan.
Yeah,
Leviathan.
crazy.
Prehistoric sperm whale. They probably like at some point like interlap in time.
For sure.
Me, I'd like to see like a dodo bird, get into like a battle with someone because they're extinct too.
This is a little fucked up, maybe, but our actually like kind of close ancestors, like Neanderthals, fighting like one of the other like what was before Homo sapiens, like Homo erectus, like pre-humans fighting pre-humans as like actual animalistic survival would have been wild to see.
Yeah, but we know that our species coexisted with many different species at one point of time. They had Neanderthals, they had Denisovan, they had Florianensis, and it must have been like the Lord of the Ring. Imagine that. It's insane. Like you don't talk about race of human, like black, white, Spanish. Like you talk about the different kind of human
species. Yeah,
that must have been crazy. But apparently, Neanderthal, from what they know, it was probably much stronger than us. So if you would have put Neanderthal against Homo sapien, Neanderthal must have killed
very
us.
strong.
The reason we might have win or now the fact that we exist and they don't, they know that at some point we had conflict with them is because we have a throwing weapon that we could throw. They didn't have that. From what we know, they only had like spears. They went like a close quarter with like. You imagine that,
and blunt force,
with like mammoth and mastodon. You imagine that you have to go close quarter with these kind of animal to hunt them. It's insane.
It's insane, dude. I was talking with my fiance about this, like the comforts of what it means to be like a modern day human. Like we've forgotten that we're a species that
spoiled. Oh, it's insane.
Spoiled. Like we don't even have to worry about survival, man. Dude. 10,000 years ago, you're like fighting for your life every day.
But sometimes I wonder if my great-great-grandfather would see us of how we are nowadays, what he would think of us.
He would be
probably
we're mad, dude.
Spoiled,
100%.
It would be disgusting.
You don't need to go. Just go to your
What a
parents.
weak man.
Your parents will say that.
Yeah.
Bro, we don't even have to go to the grocery store. They'll deliver your poutine right to your house, dude.
100%. We snap our finger and we have food coming.
No, but it's crazy, but because of that, because of how easy everything is for us and the comforts of modern day life, I think like humans have found other problems to fixate on. Like, man, like, do you think, Mikey, like anxiety and depression like existed 100 years ago?
I mean, I think it probably existed, but it wasn't like a centerpiece.
But it's because you're trying to live. You're trying to survive.
Man. It was based on your nervous system and your fight or flight, and like, oh my God, there's a bird a pterodactyl's trying to steal my baby right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've got to fight this thing. That would give you anxiety, but like your homework or like the fact that you have to go buy produce at the grocery store probably wouldn't give you anxiety.
Nah.
I think the stress must have been different. It must have been way more intense than what we experience today because you're fighting literally for your life.
Yeah.
But they probably didn't have the same stupid problem and like, long-term stress that we have.
Yeah, always on.
Yeah, like paying your rent or whatever stress like that most people deal with. They had stress that like, am I gonna live or die? Am I gonna eat tomorrow or not? I need to feed my family, like these sort of thing. Hey, am I gonna be killed by the tribe or next door?
Baseball season is in full swing.
pun intended. And the music festivals are here. For all your live event tickets, there's only one place you need to be. You already know it. SeatGeek with over 28 million downloads. SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events every single day on SeatGeek, including concerts, sporting events, music festivals, and of course, Raw, SmackDown, WWE premium live events, and more. They put all the tickets across the web in one place to make sure you're getting a good deal, and each ticket is graded to make sure that you get a good deal. Look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Thanks, Mike. Every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee, and SeatGeek is the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps. And you know I came through for you guys as per usual. Use my code Logan10 for 10% off tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off your purchase with promo code Logan10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app. Shout out SeatGeek. Back to the show.
My industry that I gravitate in, mixed martial art, is crazy. And I was always good to put a shield around myself because a lot of people, there's a lot of psychological warfare in our sport, and people try to get to you. They can't get to you physically. They try to make you derail, mentally.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that. A good example of that was when Jose Aldo fought Conor McGregor.
Yep.
Conor McGregor, what he did was he planned it. He planned it, and Jose Aldo went crazy, tried to. He was enraged.
Yep.
And look what happened.
12 seconds. Such a smart strategy, especially for a fighter.
Look what happened with Conor McGregor and Khabib. Same thing, Conor went after, I think he said something about his family and stuff. So as soon you expose these things, especially in mixed martial art, the guys will do anything to get to you.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a game like baseball, football. The outcome of a loss could be way more dramatic. So people will do anything
for sure.
It's a very dirty industry.
Oh, it's insane. I experienced it myself. And if I were like weak-minded or didn't have the mental fortitude that I've earned from the years of being subject to judgment on the internet, it would have taken a toll on me. But like, this is just another walk in the park. But it happens because I think a lot of people aren't used to being attacked like that online, especially with the people you love most. My business partner KSI, actually, not to blow up his spot, but has like a similar mentality. And like I've always respected the ability to keep the most cherished parts of your life private.
Yeah,
I think it's smart.
I learned at a very young age to put a shield around myself, because the reason why I started martial art, the first reason why I started is because of for a self-defense purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I was bullied at school and I needed to learn self-defense. Then self-defense transformed into a passion. Then it transformed into a way I earn a living. But because I learned how to deal with mental warfare, bullying at a very young age, it was a very negative experience at a very young age, but transformed into something that was very positive later on in my life, because I learned how to make a shield and, to not be affected by that later on in my career as a mixed martial art fighter.
I'm sure it affected your confidence as well, learning mixed martial arts.
It did. I wish I could tell you I got rid of my bullying problem when I was young, because I beat up all the bully, but that's not how it happened. Martial art helped me because at the time I was always complaining about myself. I was a very different person. And I wanted to change my environment. But what I realized is that before changing my environment, because my environments, I have no control over it sometimes, I need to change myself from the inside out. And when I realized that, and when I did that, my environment changed, and it changed my life.
Dude,
Man.
we got to go through some of these stats.
I was about to say,
it changed your life in a made. 2-time UFC welterweight champion, UFC middleweight champion. Dude, 4th fighter in UFC history to hold hold 2 titles in 2 different weight classes. 9 title defenses. UFC Hall of Fame 2019. 26-2 record, and a multi-division UFC champion. And the only people that ever beat you were both named Matt.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem? Do you hate the name Matthew?
Man, it's my kryptonite, bro. But I beat them after, so it's okay. I settled the score. But it seems to me like it's my kryptonite, I guess. It's my Achilles,
Are you would you say that you are at least in contention to be one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time?
Yeah, I did very well. It's very subjective, that for me, the greatest of all time, it was Royce Gracie. I grew up like I was a teenager, when I saw him win the first tournament of the UFC, he really inspired me. And at the time, there was no weight class. There were no rules.
Right.
Yeah.
You could literally like headbutt, like do everything you want, except like eye gouge, stuff like that. But the sport was different. When you used to watch the sport at the time, it was different. You thought that someone might die, you know, like it was insane. And the referee were quite incompetent back then, you know, like you see a pile of blood like behind someone's head that just got knocked out on the floor. It was a different era. So for me, Royce Gracie, he's the greatest. Of course, if you put him in the octagon nowadays, he would not do so well.
Nowadays.
No, but for his time, for me, he's the best.
Are you watching the product now?
Absolutely. I don't watch it as much as I used to, but I still like to watch the best guys because I can learn from them.
Who are the best guys right now?
Oh, there's a few guys I love to watch. I love John Jones, Tom Aspinall. I love.
Weird you mentioned both of them at the same time like that.
Of course.
You put them together.
Well, they need to fight to find out who's the best guy.
GSP, why is that fight not happening?
Well, it could be for two reasons. It's either that John Jones is using a strategy to have more money.
You could say it, GSP. Go for it. Come on, say what you want to say.
But I think that's why he's doing it.
Okay.
You know, if he's doing it just to hold the title, to serve the wave, this is not. And if he has no intention of coming back, that's not right. You know. But if he does it for as a strategy to have more money, I can understand why. But I think that the UFC needs to do something to get things moving. Either pay him what he wants, or like make negotiation happen, or get things moving. Because athletes as a window, they can't wait forever. And when that window is passed, your money making machine is broke, is finished. Yeah.
Do you think that's a fight that the UFC needs right now?
Well, there's a lot of other fights to make, like Elias Topuria. They have Islam Makhachev. They have like Mira. There's so many guys that are very fun to watch. Islam Makhachev, Khamzat Chimaev. There's so many stars. I think as a fan, I would have loved to see this fight. It just depends if John Jones really want to do this. And if the UFC needs to take action, like sit at the table with John Jones seriously and commit and make it happen, or either move on.
It doesn't seem like John really likes the topic very much. He actually walked off a podcast, the Full Send Show, the other day because he got asked about the topic, and
really
he was like, "Yeah, I'm done here," and just kind of got up and walked off.
Yeah.
Tom loves talking about it.
Yeah, of course, because he's young and hungry. But UFC needs to do something, like, and I think John needs to give his price, what he wants, because, he deserves it. I think, I believe we're athletes in mixed martial arts and UFC, and all mixed martial arts are underpaid. And it's sort of a relatively of a new sport, and it's like any other sport. It started bad for the performer, the players, the athletes, but it gets better over time. And I think John has an opportunity, or also not only for himself, but for other athletes to raise the bar for everyone. So he should take advantage of it.
Do you think that the UFC is currently having what some are calling a superstar problem, in that they have a lack of people who create the big money fights like Conor McGregor? Because some would say that although it could be argued that UFC fighters are generally underpaid, is there an argument that it's kind of you get what you give and what you bring in, because like everyone wants to watch the Conor McGregor fight, because when he's not in the octagon, he's got a lot to say and it's very entertaining, right? Yeah. And John Jones has made his name for himself. He's controversial. We want to see what he wants to do next. Yeah. He's this badass fighter. So like, these guys who have transcended just UFC, but do you think maybe the UFC at the moment has a lot of guys who are really good fighters, but maybe ultimately might not be that much of a draw for people who aren't fight fans?
It's interesting. I mean, Conor McGregor, I believe he's an anomaly.
Yeah.
He's the most popular fighter. Yeah, and then I don't, love me, hate me, but don't ignore me. He did something that was unbelievable. It's hard to try to recreate that. It will happen at one point for sure. The records are made to be broken. But right now, because nobody can do what Conor have done, I don't think it's because they don't have any stars. They have stars. You know, they had Sean O'Malley, but now Sean O'Malley lost.
Yeah.
They had Israel Adesanya. He lost a few times. It's unfortunate for UFC because he was a big name.
Yeah.
Pereira, same thing, just lost.
Like, do you think when that happens, Dana's sitting octagon ringside and he's like,
Damn it. Son of a...
As a businessman, I have to be honest, as a businessman, I think the goal of UFC is to make money.
Yeah.
Number one, it's not good for them because if one of their superstar lose, it's not good. But on the other side, I don't think they necessarily try to give. I mean, they might do it sometime to give a good dancing partner to certain guys, so it promote them. But when you're a champion, man, you take the number one contender.
Well,
that's how it should. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
That's the difference between boxing and MMA. We always like criticize boxing because there's guy that have like 60-0, 40-0, 30-0, like, but they don't really have a strong challenge. You know?
Yeah.
The reason why people love mixed martial arts is because when you're a champion, you're fighting the number one contender,
Yeah.
and it's not up to you to choose. And this should not change. That's how it was in my time. That's how it should be now. The champion has nothing to say. You fight who's in front, and that's how it should be. UFC should take action.
You know, it seems like it's also not even just like a personality problem. It feels like now the strikers are all going down, and it's coming back to like a lot of grapplers.
It's
and
a
people
wave.
want, you know what I'm saying? And you want, like, you got the Dagestani wave, you've got Marab, like takedown specialist and grappling specialist. And people want to watch striking. When you see Sugar go down, you see Adesanya go down, you see Pereira go down, who is a surgeon, right? Like that sucks for the fight fans.
It's true, but it's a cycle. You'll see if you look at UFC since the beginning. First, it was the grappler, jiu-jitsu. Then at one point, it was the American wrestler. Then it was the striker. Then it went back to the grappler. It's a cycle. It goes by era. It seems to be that at one point, you have good wrestlers that comes out, but then after the guys that are more striker gonna find a way to neglect the wrestling and to come out with their striking. Then the grappler will come back. That's how it is.
It's a wave.
Yeah, it's a wave, and I think the key to be successful in mixed martial art, I never been the best grappler or the best striker. What I was very good is I was able to transform myself into the perfect nemesis of my opponent. That was my strength. And I think to be well-rounded is the key for longevity in the sport, because you have the option of becoming either a striker or a grappler.
Just moving the levers a little
exactly,
bit. Yeah.
Exactly.
Is that what you mean when you say you train to be the biggest nemesis? What do you mean by that?
To simplify the thing, I just simplify it to say, hey, if you're a wrestler, I will strike you. If you're a grappler,
You're picking on their weaknesses.
Yeah, but let's say a guy is you're fighting a guy, he's a good boxer. Like you're gonna stay out of his boxing range while you're standing up. Mostly use your kick to keep him away. And if you try to close the distance,
takedown.
Exactly.
And that's what Marab did to Sugar.
Exactly. And that's just one example of how you can fight a guy who's a good boxer. I'm just giving a very oversimplified example, but I was able to transform myself. But it takes a lot of logic, and it's not all fighters. Some fighters are very gifted athletically, but they don't have sometimes the team or the ability to make the right decision or to game plan. It's a chess game. Fighting is more than who's the toughest, the strongest. It's about how you're gonna transform yourself. There's a lot of game plan to it, and it's all this is made during the preparation. The preparation is key. If you prepare yourself the best you can, and you can say, I train hard. Train hard, it's important. But what is mostly important, and even more important than training hard, is training smart. A lot of guys, they train smart. They train hard, but they don't train smart. They work hard, but they don't train smart. They waste their time, It's like a knife. If you try to sharpen your knife, you know, it's good. But at one point, if you try to do it too much, you'll mess up the material and you end up with no knife. I've seen that happening very often in MMA.
The knife's gone.
Yes.
It's so funny, or not funny. It's just amazing to hear you talk about like the mastery of this craft, because that's part of the reason why people loved you so much. I think like your dedication to the discipline
And respect.
to mixed martial arts is almost like this kind of old school way of fighting and combat that may have been lost a little bit. Like even when you're in your walkouts, you'd walk out with the gi, and you'd have traditional like Japanese flag headband on, and you gave respect to each discipline in mixed martial arts.
They can't do that anymore because of sponsorship deal they have, unfortunately. But I believe that I was very successful, not because I worked the hardest. There's guys that work just as hard as me. There's guy, I was very athletic, but there's guys that are more athletic than I am. I think one of the reasons why I was very successful is because when an opportunity was given to me, I never let it go. I seize it. Even though if it forces me to get out of my comfort zone. And even though I was scared, I was not paralyzed by fear. I was always very honest about it. I was terrified, I was afraid. But I always, when I saw an opportunity, I take it. Even if I fail, I fail. But you know, I never miss an opportunity to improve.
I wanted to ask about your relationship with fear, because you kind of just brought it up. And for fighters, it's obviously like a demon you have to look in the face eventually. How do you handle fear before you go into a title fight, 9 times?
When I was young, I thought that later on in my career, fear will go away because I will get more experience. And I realized that fear does not go away. Fear get worse. You're more stressed because every fight, when you're successful, are bigger than the last one. And you have more to lose. You have more people watching you. So there is more at stake. So it gets worse. Then after I decided to see certain sport psychologists, and they always told me that at the time my English was not as good as it is now. They were trying to brainwash me. George, stop saying you're afraid. You're not afraid. You're excited. And I was like, man, I don't know. I will be excited for the situation, but not knowing if I'm going to get beat up, humiliated, or, to win the fight on Saturday night. And then I realized that there's no courage without fear. You shouldn't be afraid to admit that I'm afraid. And the way you domesticate fear, because it will always be there, the way you domesticate it, you have to accept it. Accept the fact that the fear will make you train harder because you're afraid that your opponent gonna get more prepared than you are. The fear gonna heighten your reaction time, your power when it's time to explode. It's gonna make you better. It's gonna enhance your senses, your athletic performance. The fear could be used positively. Of course, it can make you fold under pressure, but the way you domesticated it is by with the preparation. The better you prepare, the better you have, the more you have confidence, the more you increase your confidence. And confidence is not the absence of fear, is knowing that you have what you need in order to succeed. And when you're confident, you can walk with a straight face, you put on a mask, and you're ready to give it all. Because even though you're afraid, you can lie to others, but you cannot lie to yourself. You've done what needs to be done in order to be to your optimal form.
Yep. And
you can go out there with, an empty mind and be ready to face anything.
Did you have fun? Because we've had a lot of fighters on the show. You've been very blessed and had a lot of great fighters on the show. Did you have fun in the octagon your entire career, or did you?
No, I'm a little bit different, I think, than most of fighters. I just talked with Justin Gaethje a few minutes ago, and most of fighters, they love to fight. I never really liked it. I like to win. I love to win. The feeling of winning, the release of dopamine that you have is just unbelievable. But the waiting part, like that lasted, I would say, a few week before the fight, and it get worse as you get closer to a fight. It's unbearable. It's terrible. And that part lasts much longer than the winning part. So if I look at it, it's more negative. There's more cons than pros. And I wonder why the hell I did this. I did this because I want to use that, add a gift. And I was very lucky. I worked really hard, and I want to use that to buy my freedom, to propel me where I wanted to be in life. And I was very lucky, and I did it. And the stars were aligning, and I feel very blessed.
Yeah, you got that freedom now.
Yeah, but we're never entirely free because we all have responsibility, But I can go anywhere I want. I have a lot of money to live for the rest of my life, and my family too, and don't have to work.
But you still do that.
If I don't do something crazy, But you know what I mean? I have more freedom than I used to. I used to be broke. I didn't have money growing up. People don't know, but it was a very hard time back then for me. And when I remember where I come from, and it makes me appreciate what I have now.
Do you have a this is my last fighting question, at least. Do you have a victory? Because there was a bunch of them that stand out. Do you have one that really stands out to you as like the moment you kind of knew, or the greatest victory moment in your career?
I mean, there's a few. When I first won the title against Matt Hughes in Sacramento, it was a chapter of my life that just ended.
Closed.
Because I achieved my goal. Then I would say another one that was very good was when I had my rematch with Matt Serra in Montreal.
Oh, sounds like two Matt stories.
No, but I had to fight my demon. Because I lost to Matt Serra, and I had a big drop, and I had to climb. I was telling myself, I climbed the Everest once, and I'm gonna fucking claim it again, and I did it. I was very happy. And the last one was my fight with Michael Bisping. Came back in Madison Square Garden, New York. It was great, and that was the end of my career after that.
Amazing. Do you feel like I guess one more, do you feel like you have to write that loss? Like, so if you get beat by someone, you have to close that chapter?
I do, because I'm crazy. I'm a little bit obsessive compulsive, and I'm not the same person I used to be. I mean, when I was fighting at the time, my pride, my ego was very important. It was very important. I had more pride than anyone in the room. My ego was crazy big.
I can't believe that, because I know you, and you, dude, you are literally.
I always try to stay humble, but my pride, my ego was bigger than anyone. And it's a good thing as a fighter, because that's what hold me up in front of adversity. And when I retire, one of the reasons why I retire, I realized at one point, because it used to be very important for me of what people thought of me. When I was young, it was very important. But after a certain age, I realized that it's not so important what people think of me. What really matters is what people love me think of me. And that's when I made peace with this, I was good. And I turned to a different chapter in my life.
My brother has a similar feeling towards yours in terms of avenging a loss. He's got an 11-1 boxing record, and the one came from a guy by the name of Tommy Fury.
Yeah, I watched that fight. Yeah.
Yep. And it was a very close fight,
yeah.
Right? Like a point was taken away or something. It's like split decision, as close as a boxing fight could be. And Jake, obviously, super hungry kid, wants to avenge that loss. And I think there's a huge appetite for an audience to watch that fight. But Tommy won't take the fight. And so I guess, is there any and I think we all know why he won't take the fight. It's a bit dangerous. Like, you don't want to lose to this YouTuber who now is looking a little bit more like a boxer than he was. Who's looking like a world champion, training like a world champion. Like, I'm with Jake, every week. And so I see the work he's putting in. And I know why Tommy really doesn't want to fight him.
Yeah.
But how do you, it's maybe even similar to the Aspinall Jones situation. It's how do you ultimately make that happen? If, for Tommy, he got away barely, right? But for him, it could be like an extreme brand risk losing to Jake Paul.
Shut up, brand risk.
I can tell you a story that happened to me when I just lost to Matt Serra. I'm gonna tell you a story that could be similar to what your brother is experiencing now. And I tell you what I did when I lost to Matt Serra. I was obsessed of revenge. I wanted to get my revenge right away. However, I couldn't because Matt Serra became the champion, and there was other guys in line before me to get a title shot. But the only thing that I could think of was Matt Serra. I was obsessed. I'm obsessive compulsive.
You had his face on a dartboard.
Oh, crazy. I was so angry at myself. I knew I was better than this. I wanted to prove to the world. So one of the sport psychologists, Brian Kane, he made me take a brick and wrote the name Serra on it. And he said, George, it was a big brick. He said, George, you're carrying too many bricks. Now you have another fight scheduled against Josh Koscheck. You need to focus on the immediate task. You can't focus on Serra because you're not focusing on the right thing. It's not good. It's very dangerous. I was like, yeah. So he made me carry a freaking brick in my training bag. And when I go to TriStar to train, I had to go up the stairs and carrying that brick at one point. It was like, man, it's getting very annoying every day, like twice a day. And I was calling him. I said, hey, can I get rid of that freaking brick? He's like, no, you keep it. Until the point I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, hey, listen, Brian, I want to get rid of that fucking brick. It's bothering me. He's like, okay. So what I did is he made me go to the Saint Laurent River with the brick, with the name of Serra on it. And he made me throw the brick in the Saint Laurent River. I know it sounds stupid, but it was an action that I did that had profound effect on my mind. And when I did this, it kind of releases me. I was like, now I'm ready to fight Josh Koscheck. And I beat Koscheck, and eventually I get my rematch with Matt Serra. But my point is that if your brother keep focusing, and I know the feeling, I know it's awful and it must stink like fucking crazy, but you need to focus on the next task because that could be a big mistake and for him, you know.
He is. Dude, he's so mentally strong. It's insane. He wants to fight, but he's not hyper fixated on it. I get that analogy.
Get hungry for the next fight.
Yeah, and he is. That brick analogy is awesome. I get it. And the weight of like what it means to be holding that in your mind and to finally let it go. I love it. Like I actually think you should do that with your Sarah. Right? It's Sarah on the brick. And then
I don't think I have to do that, dude.
I was waiting.
Good Lord. Wait, hold on. Wait. I have a good thing too on the Tommy Fury thing. On the Tommy Fury thing. This is important.
No, I know.
Focus
I know what you're gonna say.
You know me long enough to know what this transition is.
Yeah, I do. But I don't know if
you want to go there yet.
Yeah, because I
got something else to say.
I do want to.
Go ahead. Go for it.
I did want to ask about one of the Matts. Matt Hughes, dude.
Yeah.
The Matt Hughes story is really sad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What happened? Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's I don't know. It's just like, you know, again, I'm a fight fan growing up, and you have this like hyper capable, like badass human being who a stroke of bad luck in life changes the course of one's life and like really puts your own humanity and existence into perspective. It's really scary what happened to him. He got hit by a train and
well, for people who don't know, I think he was in a vehicle and a train hit his vehicle and he got paralyzed and he was supposed to die. He was not even supposed to come back, and he came back. Of course, he's not the same as he used to be physically, but he survived. I think it shows how strong he is, you know, like in a way it's unfortunate, but it could have been worse. It could have been way worse.
Yeah, it could have been way worse.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just feel like I found out about that story and like I pray every day, and when I pray, I tell my God that I don't take this life for granted. And like stories like that not only are like a representation of resilience and fighting, but it's a reminder of just how I guess fragile this existence like can really be, man. Because
100%.
crazy
You never know.
things, man. Like who would have ever expected Matt Hughes, bro, hit by a train? Like just insane. It's like
you zig when you should have zag, or you drive your car, you get hit by someone. It's not even your fault.
Your
Your
alarm doesn't go off, and you wake up 10 minutes later, and you leave. Like it's crazy the amount of like little butterfly effect things that just
you never know.
I know.
I have a great question to ask you. That is,
I already know what it is, but I was going to lead you into it, but it's important.
Okay.
I'm gonna lead,
we're all talking about the same thing.
Are we doing it?
No, we're going.
I want him to do it.
Are we doing it now?
Yeah, you go for it.
You want me that?
Go for it. This is your chance. This is your chance.
All right. I know we have another thing in common outside of the dinosaurs and the fighting.
And cheeseburgers.
So I have a source that told me that you have, at one point in time, you had a secret camera on your jacket. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you went to a guy's house, and that guy refused to talk to everyone, but he let you in by a miracle, and he shows you the video of an alien abduction. And you filmed the whole thing.
It's very close. It's very close. I had a guy by the name of James Fox.
Yes.
On my podcast.
Yeah.
He is a UFO film director. He's an incredible guy.
The Project.
Yes.
Virginia.
Yes,
amazing documentary.
Yes. Yeah. He's very good. And he told me about this story about this guy. I believe his name was Chuck Clark.
Chuck Clark. Exactly.
That's had this footage of a UFO. And the way he's describing this UFO was like, he's like, it's the best footage I've ever seen. And I'm like, I gotta find it. Like this point in my life, I was like, I'm going on adventures. I'm gonna find it. Well, we ended up getting in touch with Chuck and drove out in the middle of nowhere. And he let us in his house.
And this guy, by the way, didn't want to let nobody in his house. He didn't want to talk about it with no one.
No,
right?
So he was down to show people the film.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't want to disperse it because he felt like a gatekeeper.
You mean he didn't want to give the video away?
He didn't want like apparently how he got the footage from the people who the two kids who shot it. It was outside of Area 51. And they went there to like basically, do what everyone does at Area 51 and like go see if they can find aliens. Well, these kids allegedly like did end up seeing a craft and did end up capturing it on video.
They were in a car.
In a car, they're hiding under the dashboard, an orange oscillating light, and
that went through the car.
Yep. And so those kids gave the footage to like a news station, and the news station guy trusted Chuck Clark to keep it safe because he had like military. I'm not really sure about the provenance of this story.
Okay.
And like it gets a little wonky, but I had to see this. I had to see this tape.
Okay.
And I also brought $100,000 cash. Cash, GSP.
I fucking love it. And he has a triceratops. 100.
Come on, bro.
This is your new best friend.
Let's
right
go.
here, GSP.
You're my kind of guy.
Yeah, dude. No, when I was reading the PDF, I was like, bro, we have so many things in common. There's even more.
Completely insane. I love it.
Insane, bro. Because like what? I'm sure we could dive into this topic. I'll finish this story, but bro, like we are not alone. We are not alone by any means. I know you have a UFO story.
But is that when you saw that, did it convince you?
No.
I
was incredibly disappointed.
Oh shit,
Yeah,
that's
dude.
disappointed. I thought it was going.
I wish you didn't tell him that part.
No.
You should have told him. It's like
no. I want to know the truth. I want to.
What you just did to GSP was like Christmas Day. He came downstairs.
No, Mike. But listen. The problem with me is that I want to believe, but I'm a UFO enthusiast. I like to dive into those topics, but I need strong evidence.
This wasn't it.
Because the problem is I'm easily. You can convince me easily, but
I mean, dude, there's, in my opinion, also a UFO enthusiast, there's tons of evidence out there. Like the evidence is there. I feel like it's all there. You just have to like look at it, piece it together, find what's real and what's not. This footage was compelling, not convincing.
Okay.
And I have to say, I was disappointed that it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And I still ended up offering him the $100,000. He said no. But I recorded it just in case because I had this thought. I'm like, dude, if this is like a video that will like
It's a crime against humanity.
A little bit, if it's gonna like progress the boundaries of humanity, like or like open people's eyes up to the fact that we're not
alone, man.
Put it out there, bro. What the fuck are you doing? Put it out there.
And a lot of people that have seen UFO took picture with you, so they from what it's described by most of the witnesses, it's not the same when you see it with your eyes and then when you take a picture or video of it, because it's there's sort of a blurry effect around.
It's supposed to be, the belief is that it's from the gravity,
space, time,
dark matter.
Yeah.
Dark matter. Can I ask you a question? Just quick. By the way, you should never showed it to him. He wanted a bike.
I know.
He wanted a bike for Christmas. You gave him socks.
Yeah.
You gave him socks.
I know.
I've seen this a million times. You fucking ruined his stocking.
But I want to know the truth. I'm a truth seeker.
Here's the truth of the matter, GSP. The only person with compelling and impossible to argue with evidence of UFO existence right now is Tommy Fury. He is the only, I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. You think I'm kidding? He has an image. He really does. He's got an image of what I can only describe as a civilization above the clouds. It is a large mothership.
He saw Tommy's picture.
I know it's weird.
Out of all people Tommy Fury showed, he showed Mike Majlak.
I'm telling you, I know it sounds weird, but I'm telling you, Tommy Fury is harboring more than just Jake Paul's ego. Okay, he has an image that you need to see, GSP, and he's holding on to it.
Yeah, release the clip, Tommy. Release the photo. We know you have it, Tommy.
It's the second time we've asked you, Tommy. We won't ask a third time, okay? We will find your traveling family. We'll track you down, and we will get that fucking image from you. Reach out, Tommy.
You don't want to fuck with.
No, I'm not. I don't want any trouble. I don't want any trouble. No, I'll be so polite. No, I'll be so polite. I'll be so polite about it. Trust me.
But the problem nowadays is with AI,
we're fucked.
Like this, like all the special effect, you can do everything.
Well, let me ask you.
You can make someone doing a porn movie, and you don't even know.
I saw you in one the other day. It's an AI movie.
No, but it's insane. So you can't believe anything anymore. It's crazy. But back at maybe before to the 2000, that was different.
But that bothers me. And now this is what I really wanted to ask you guys. It wasn't about Tommy Fury's picture. It was about, now that everyone has a phone in their hand, always recording everything at all times, why, at least from my opinion, why have all the videos stopped? There used to be the 90s and 80s and 90s and early 2000s. There was always a video from a camcorder or a VHS tape. Why, now that everyone's filming the sky and everyone has a Ring camera and everyone has everything all the time, why are the aliens no longer coming?
Mike, that's not true.
I was gonna say they haven't.
There's tons of it. I can show you.
There's tons.
You show me some stuff. I have stuff that I can show you too.
Okay. Well, you've had some experiences that you can't explain regarding lapses of time.
Yeah, and I also that was when I was young. It's called it's a phenomenon that could be described as sleep paralysis.
Scary.
You're when you're in a state of semi-consciousness, your brain can produce apparently DMT. That's the best they explain it. They don't understand. This phenomenon is not widely understood. That's how they call it. But I've also later on in my life, I've seen something that I wasn't alone when I saw it. I was with Rashad Evans, Ali Abdelaziz, Mike Van Arsdale, and another guy I was in Albuquerque, another fighter at the time. His name was Alejandro, that I lost track of what happened with him. But these three guys are known. Ali Abdelaziz, who's Khabib Nurmagomedov manager. Mike Van Arsdale, very known mixed martial art fighter. Fought Randy Couture, and Rashad Evans, former UFC champion. We saw something. We were in a car. We saw something. I don't have the credential. I'm not an astrophysicist. For me, what I saw was unidentified aerial phenomenon. We call now a UAP, unidentified anomalous phenomenon, because they've been seen under the water as well by a very sophisticated military instrument. And this is a fact. If people don't believe in UAP, it's because you're behind. Now it's a known fact. There's things that are flying and going underneath that we don't know what it is. And
submersibles.
Yes, it has been declassified by the Pentagon. Like, if you don't believe in UAP, it's because you're behind. You need to update yourself. It's a fact. It's a known fact. We just don't know what it is. It is technology that we have that nobody knows. a secret, like CIA or a secret, or is it something from another planet or another dimension?
Yep.
This we don't know. But
What do you think?
UAP,
What do you think?
man, I think some of it. I made a lot of research on it. I met a lot of people, and I believe some of the things that we see in the skies that we cannot explain some are ours, but some are unknown.
Yep, that's true. So the answer to your question is far more nuanced and complex than I think like any one of us realize. It's not black and white.
Yeah.
All of it doesn't fit into one bucket. There's a lot of potential explanations here, and everyone I know who does deep research on this topic gets more confused the more they learn, probably because there's a lot.
It's a rabbit hole,
and there's a lot of explanations for it.
There's another phenomenon linked to UAP that is linked to it. If you research UAP, you're gonna stumble into this. It's called ESP, extrasensorial phenomenon. Like we talk about remote viewing and stuff like that. The CIA spent millions of dollars on researching this phenomenon because the Soviets during the Cold War were doing it as well. And of course, publicly, they've said that there's no such thing, but a lot of people have come out. A lot of whistleblower have come out and says otherwise. And I've known people that have seen things related to this that it's unexplainable. Of course, I've been fooled before. I've been played magic. People have played magic trick on me, but there's things that are like, whoa, wait a second, like this is impossible.
And you told me you've had some like confirmations from people recently.
I've had the chance to meet different people in the industry. Some of them have worked in a project linked to UAP and ESP, and I never physically, and you know what I mean? Like I don't have physical proof of it. But I have people that confirm to me that yes, they said that there's a program to back engineer and to research these phenomenon linked to UAP and also ESP. I mean, I'm very curious. I'm an enthusiast. But the thing with this too, I try to stay logic as much as I can, because a problem with me is that I want to believe. And I try to not be affected by my emotions because I want it to be true, but that doesn't make it true. So in order to be fully convinced, I need strong evidence.
But it's hard to be logical in a field where it doesn't make conventional sense. Like these things are like fully defying the physics we know. Or maybe like our version of science and physics hasn't caught up to the truth, which is possible. Like,
you know what is crazy about this? It's a good point you just mentioned. The thing I saw in the sky when I was with Rashad Evans, Ali Abdelaziz, Mike Van Arsdale, and Alejandro in Albuquerque.
Why do you keep listing the whole manifest?
No, because I wasn't alone, and they can confirm it.
Yeah, 100%.
But when we saw the phenomenon, for me, it appears like a sort of a triangular, like a greenish triangular shape with no edge, like rounded edge, but triangular shape coming towards us, then changing direction, and then skipping away. It lasted for me maybe 10, 15 seconds. But if you hear Rashad or Ali Abdelaziz talking about it, they don't describe the same thing than I do. God. So we look like we made up a story and we're all fucking liars that you know, that's why it attacked our credibility to talk about it. And now I'm past that. I'm older. I don't give a damn. Like I only care about what people think about me. I it's important, but what I care the most is what people that I love think about me. And I think it's important. It's something that is very important. It's a subject that need to be researched more and take very seriously.
I think it's the highest level of government classification. This is what I've heard, like beyond the classification levels of the Manhattan Project, of them trying to develop nuclear weapons. Like, I think this is even beyond that. And man, we had Trump on our podcast and I asked him about this. I did. And he was like, yeah, I've met some really nice, like good looking guys who say they saw something. That doesn't really interest me. And like,
How can you not be interested by
he
this?
No.
knows.
No, he
100%.
doesn't, because
I'm
I'm telling you why.
There's no chance
I'm telling you
he
why,
doesn't know.
bro. Because that level of classification is way beyond
No.
president.
Yeah, guys,
the president doesn't even have access.
No. He knows probably a bit
tiny
of it.
Not all. Not all.
No,
Not all of it. No way.
What I've been told by people in Washington is that the president comes and go every 4 years.
Yeah.
One of the guy that must have known, for example, is George Bush. Apparently, he was the last president to have been fully briefed on that.
Well, because
subject.
he's like a legacy family.
Bush senior,
correct.
not the young, the older one. But a guy that must have known, like, there's people that must know the full story. You know, like a guy may be like Vladimir Putin, because
Those
Russia.
are the French fries you like. With
But Vladimir Putin, I know Russia. Apparently, Russia had a similar program. I'm sure he probably knew because he was in the KGB, or maybe the Chinese government. You know, like indeed those countries, they have a different structure than the one in America. I'm sure they must know more.
I just wonder how deep the rabbit hole goes and what is being protected. Like, we're talking about alien ships, we're talking about remote viewing, but like, how far does it go? Like, multiverse level, does it go?
I think it goes really far.
Do you know what I'm saying,
Mike? I think it goes really far. I think when you start to dive into the conversation, which the root of it seems to be, this is where it lands a lot for me, and what I watch and listen to and read and hear is consciousness. A lot of it has to do with like what consciousness is, or like consciousness-based something, and it's a really hard topic for like a simple human, like Homo sapien mind,
even for a smart one,
to try to comprehend, man. It does, like, even, man, like you mentioned with AI, like things are getting so smart so quickly. We're on the cusp of so many rapid technological
singularities.
Elon says we're past it. He says we're past it, and if it hasn't like fully happened, like it's going to happen this year or next year, like. Machines will be smarter than us, and very quickly, like, a lot will be revealed about the nature of reality, which is fucking insane, but also so exciting. Like, I don't know if I'd say I want to believe, but like, I just think it's one of the most exciting parts about being alive on this planet, man. Like,
is the idea of magic existing? Some
exactly.
sort of illusion of life. The crazy thing about the artificial intelligence and the AI and like the advent of SI, super intelligence. When you look at your phone and you look at ChatGPT, or you look at one of the programs that we use every day, and we're blown away by what it does. Even just on your phone, shit that everyone has, every human. Can you imagine what is still being contained inside a sandbox in Silicon Valley right now, or some government research lab? And they're saying to themselves, we've got orders to keep it inside the sandbox. As long as that's what they call it. As long as it's inside the sandbox, they can't get out. Then one day, some idiot brings their phone to work and it's not in airplane mode. And that thing, bro, this could all go south so quickly. Like that, dude.
I've said this on this podcast before, but I fully believe that. Okay, have you seen the evolution of man? Like the first version of us, and slowly going to stand up, right? And into Homo sapien. I think the next iteration of that is like a machine, fully a machine.
Oh, 100%.
I think we are probably
a cyborg.
Maybe a mix, maybe a hybrid first.
It's probably a hybrid of like a biological AI, if that makes sense. And allegedly as well, some of the bodies that have been recovered are rumored to be that the Greys. The Greys. It's like they're not like fully sentient. They're like robotic, biological, hyper intelligent beings that perhaps could be like drones of the higher like intelligence.
What are the possibilities, you think? Like, let's put all
let's map it out. Us three, by the way, the most qualified to talk about
100%.
this. Well, you and I, we do a lot of.
We're like those kids that talk about food when they sit around the Maryland.
Okay, number one, civilization from another planet.
Yeah,
I would say lost civilization that almost got wiped out.
Yep. A break off civilization.
Atlantean or Lemurian that went hiding underneath the sea, or went out and maybe came back.
Yep. I got one. A civilization of ourselves in a different timeline.
Okay.
So just us at a different timeline.
Third. Okay. What else? Another dimension, I would say.
Another dimension is possible as well. Us right now. a super advanced version of research that took place around the 1950s Roswell crash, where Americans maybe did successfully reverse engineer a craft and are flying them around the sky and are seen by people. So like, there's an argument that it could just be Americans or humans.
A simulation. We're in a freaking simulation and we don't even know
there's another one that's close to that, which is a distant super civilization that has access to actually control us. We're simply Sims, which is an interesting one, which is like, accurate. There's so many theoreticals. There's horizon theory where guess what? We're all just characters in GSP's reality. That's a real thing.
It's a dream. like we're in a dream. This is not even reality, like different reality. And there's maybe things that we're not even smart enough to.
That's the big
think
one.
about.
That
could be it.
No, that's the biggest one.
We don't even know what consciousness is.
I watched a video on this yesterday on YouTube, and there's a rating scale of the easiest way to rate civilizations, and it's based on their ability to utilize energy. And I forgot what the term is, but right now we exist.
Kardashev.
That's correct.
Kardashev.
Wow, you are freaking insane.
I thought.
So we are nearing a 1, and normally
we're not even.
We're 0.7.
It's
we're
like
0.7.
We're like
no, we're
100 years
0.7
out.
right now. We're 0.7. That's what the official rating is, because we haven't started to harness waves, earthquakes, all the sun itself.
Yeah.
But as you move towards, it only goes to like 4 or 5. But this video went to 7, and it's like the last 3 after 4, all just like super metaphysical. The ability to the 4 would be the ability to harness every star's energy.
The Dyson sphere.
Yeah, with the Dyson sphere.
What comes with that subject when you talk about it?
Acid.
Have you ever done psychedelic?
That is the route. I think about this all the time. The one way to enlightenment on this level is through psychedelic drugs. It just is, dude.
I mean, I've tried ayahuasca once. It was a very
before you dive in, we were at, I think it was my brother's fight, and you and I were talking, and you were like, I was like, yeah, how are things, man? You were like, yeah, dude, like I did ayahuasca.
I don't give a damn now. Yeah.
And then I saw you talking about it publicly. I was like, oh, he just going.
Yeah. I'm like, fuck it. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
No, but I've done it because it's not a recreational drug. It's something you do. I mean, I've always been very curious about consciousness, and I did it for an experience, and I promised myself to do it only once. And I've done it, and I don't regret. And I'm very happy that I did it, and it changed me forever for the good. And the way I know if it was for the good or for the bad is because the people that I know, my close circle, they all told me, and they're very honest about me. With me, they always told me that it has a positive effect.
Good.
And when you talk about this, like it put you in a different reality. What is consciousness? Like, and I think it's important to talk about it because we talk about all these things. We don't even understand what consciousness is. The religious people will say consciousness is your soul. The scientists will say, oh, it's the circuitry in your brain, what makes consciousness. We don't freaking know. We don't know what is consciousness.
When you did ayahuasca, did you feel more tapped into maybe what consciousness truly is?
Yes, I promise. I felt that it gives me more answers, but brought me even more questions.
Yeah.
And I promised myself that if I reach that level of consciousness again, I will do it. Not by, for me, taking psychedelic is a little bit like cheating.
Cheat code.
I think it's cheating. But apparently
Transcendental meditation.
Yes,
Number one.
Yes, there's a way exactly that you can do it naturally, but it takes a lot of work.
A lot.
And I think to have a full enlightenment, I think you need to reach that level. You need to work. It's like anything.
Yeah.
We all want things to be fast and easy.
A pill.
Because we don't have the wisdom to put in the work. We don't have we want it fast and easy, but that doesn't come that way. Like everything in life that is precious we need to work.
The problem is, I think GSP is like, I think humans are like pretty limited. I think we're a pretty limited species by like let's do the 5 senses: touch, see, taste, feel, hear. Like I don't know if I got those right, but like there's like there's boundaries to what we're like capable of understanding. There really is. When my brother described his acid trip, and I've done psychedelics as well, not ayahuasca yet. Or sorry, when he described his ayahuasca trip, he basically was like, when I was in it, I understood everything. Like it all made so much sense to me, right? And he did come back with messages, but then trying to describe that
so hard
what it was like being in that state. He doesn't have the words for it because they don't exist in the English language.
Yeah.
Can you find any words?
Yeah, 100%. You it's something that you gain a certain knowledge, but you cannot describe. Like for me, I'm gonna give you an example. What happened? One of the transformation that happened for me, it was my ego, my pride. Before that, I had such a huge ego and a pride. And I was, at the end, I just retired. And you know what? When you're a professional fighter and you retire, you feel a little bit like your life is empty because you don't have that high anymore, like a fighting. That crazy feeling that you can never find back. And I had problems struggling with it. Even though I don't like to fight, I wanted to reach that high again of victory, you know? And to be a fighter, to be successful, you need a crazy ego, a crazy pride, which is a good thing as a fighter, but in your everyday life, it's not a good thing. It doesn't make you a better person. It can be also very detrimental because it's sort of a selfish feeling. You're not in contact. You're not in contact with people you love as much because you're focusing on your ego, yourself.
Yeah.
So when I did this, it sort of transformed me. Once again, it made me realize that I should not care so much about what people think about me. I should care more about what people that I love think about me.
It's called ego death.
Ego death.
It's the most profound experience as it pertains to psychedelics. But I want to ask you, every psychedelic kind of has like a different outcome. And for me, the simplest one is to explain has always been psilocybin, mushrooms, right? Every time I've had that experience, I've always walked out with the same word, one word, connected. Connected. It's the one when I'm on 6-7 grams of mushrooms, doing a proper like hero. I'm the plant, the tree, the deer that we ran into at the place in Big Sur.
Yeah.
We're all of those things. We're just simply an extension of all these things. We all exist in the same membrane, right? And you walk, you leave it, and it goes away, and that's the piece you're left with. I'm connected to you. I'm connected to all living things, right? Acid, LSD, is a little bit different. Okay, it gives you a little bit of a different outcome. If you had to describe ayahuasca in one term, at the output being one term, what would it be?
Man, it's a good question, but connected could be a good thing. I felt that we can't. Our technology does not allow us, but if we can go back to the smallest infinite thing, go back smaller atoms, proton, electron, even smaller. I think we're all the same thing. We're all sort of connected.
We're stardust.
This
we're
is it. What is ultimately what is God? God is you, is me, and it's everything.
Energy, I guess, right?
I don't know how to describe, but it's a little bit the same feeling. I can't. That's a word, but it's. I have it here, and I cannot put it into a word.
It doesn't exist. The word
it does exactly,
exist.
But connected could be one of the best way to describe it. But it's more than that.
I feel like the word unity comes to mind for me. I don't know what it is, but like sameness in being, whatever like the word that is. But like, man, I think the ego is a funny thing because I think most people's egos protects them. I think maybe that's why egos exist, and we're just trying to protect ourselves, and we have this belief in ourselves and who we are, and you're trying to like maintain that, especially because we want to look a certain way for like our species, and that's super instinctual to want to appear a certain way so you can find your place in the hierarchy of humanity. But I think that ego death is such an evolution for a lot of people, and it's really hard to get to because you either have to have like a profound experience like ayahuasca or be incredibly humbled more than one time probably, which I have been, and I've had that ego death, unfortunately, because it's like, it's a scary feeling to really understand, like, we don't really matter. Like, we feel like we do. We feel like we do. And maybe we do it to each other. We do. And that's great. But ultimately, bro, in the scope of humanity and space and time, like we are such a blip on this radar. And that's being like generous.
I'm glad I did ayahuasca after I retired, because if I would have done it before, it could have been very detrimental to my career. You know what? The boxer, I mean, I don't want to misquote him, but I believe that he said, Deontay Wilder, he said that he lost his fire after he did ayahuasca. And I can understand that. I think if you're a fighter, especially in combat sports, and you're curious about consciousness and you want to experience psychedelic, especially ayahuasca, one of my advice would be wait after your career. Don't do it, because it can have a very detrimental effect on you, because you need that pride, that ego as a fighter.
Yeah,
that's what holds you up. You know. But,
you know what's crazy. Last thing on this is we talk about like AI, and we talk about like how fast AI is developing and progressing, but in reality, the most not understood or misunderstood or like not yet like researched thing is the human brain. It's really the last frontier. It is the greatest potentially the greatest computer that will ever exist. Now, maybe AI, I know, you're right. Usually you could make that statement like 2 years ago, you can make that statement and no one would argue it. You're right. Now it's like AI is crazy, but we still know so little about the human mind, especially, and the human brain, just so little. It's like we know way more about space than we know about what happens inside our conscious.
But we still don't know shit. We don't know anything.
We are really anything, still really man. Stupid.
One thing that is interesting for me, you talk about this, and there's a book I've read about Hermes Trismegistus, you know, and what
you know, say that one more time.
Hermes Trismegistus. Hermes Trismegistus. You know, it's what is.
Sounds like,
you know, macrocosm and microcosm, you know, like you talk about brain, you talk about things sometimes that are very small. They are very similar to the things that are very big.
Yeah.
Look at the solar system, a sun with the planet. Yeah. Look at to the molecular level. An atom, you know, a proton with electron.
Dude.
It's
you
not
see that
a mistake. It's the God shape. It's the celestial shape of a sphere.
Look the final scene in Men in Black, the first Men in Black, the giant that play, you know, they play with the galaxy. Yeah. They play with the universe or the galaxy.
It's not a mistake.
Who knows? Dude. Maybe it's real or maybe it's not. We don't know. You know. You talk about your brain, maybe look the planet. The planet, maybe it's a living entity. You know what I mean? We're maybe microbes on it. You know, we don't know. We don't.
Who knows if we are actually sitting on these couches right now? We just don't. You're right, and that is, to Logan's point, one of the hardest things about life right now is the idea that you might have to scrap the fact that the five senses are the only things you could rely on.
But you have more.
Imagine,
bro. You have sense of hunger. You have a sense of depth. If I put a needle around, you know, you have different. Oh yeah, like, yes.
Crazy, dude.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's gonna get weird, man. Especially with, again, the advent of super intelligence. I basically tell people that anything that you can imagine or can't imagine that is gonna happen with like this planet will. I think it will. Like,
think it'll explode at some point?
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, like, yeah, yes. Shit is gonna get so weird so quickly. Like, dude, you know, people are falling in love with AI.
Yeah.
Do you know people are in love with AI?
They talk to the chat GPT.
Like chat GPT. Will you marry me?
So society is crazy nowadays. Look. Our society is transformed. Like sometimes it's in a good way, but it's also in a bad way. I mean. I went hunting a few days ago.
Oh, dude, trust me, I saw it.
Man, bro,
you got in some deep trouble for that one. Dude.
What I did, it was very ethical. It was a ethical hunt. It was, you know, bear meat is my favorite
Gotta
meat.
caption your photos right, GSP.
It's amazing. I went hunting and
great.
Man, they went in Saint-Isidore, in the small town where I grew up. They had a statue, a monument of me. You know, a little bit like Rocky, but smaller version, a smaller version. They went to people went to Vandal. Yeah,
why? Because you killed a bear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was a black bear. It was quite a big one too. It was ethical. It was my first time. I was very proud, you know. And I'm gonna eat the meat, and and people, they eat meat like processed food where they farm chicken, they treat them very bad, and now they're gonna complain about what I did.
GSP,
They're
you wanna know
hypocrite, you know.
But you want to know what they don't do with the hybrid chickens that they eat? They don't take selfies with them. That's the mistake everybody makes, dude. I'm telling you, there's just no easy way to do it. People just don't want to see you posing with a bear, a zebra, you know what I'm saying? Any of those type of things.
Bro, this would never.
It's not me
never,
saying it, but just it's people, bro. People love, they dream up this idea of who bears are. They have teddy bears as kids. So when they see a bear,
I grew up hunting. I understand it.
Man, the death that bear has was very fast. It's probably the best death he could wish for. Otherwise, it would be chased down by coyotes and wolf, and or maybe killed by other bear. And the bear I kill is an adult bear. You saw the scar on his forehead. That means he fought. Nature is tough, man.
It's a bitch.
And it was. I don't agree for people who kill just to kill. But what I did was very ethical, and it's a sport. You know, it's my right to do it. This, you know, we talk about it. If I go back a few decades, this was not a problem in our society. What's wrong with sometimes with the society? It's
full circle now because people are too fucking comfortable and they forgot that they're privileged to not have to worry about surviving.
Yeah.
And so like, what can I worry about? What can I complain about? What don't I agree with that I want to be vocal about? And you're right. It is your right. You do whatever the fuck you want if it's legal. And I imagine it is legal. I imagine you had a tag for the bear.
Yeah, 100%.
The right way.
100%.
Bro, it's hunting. It's the way of life.
It's a new passion for me. I never hunted before. It's a friend of mine, Bill Thompson. He has Spartan Forge. It's a company, and he took me. It was my first experience. I started shooting after COVID. I'm from Canada. It's not legal, and I never thought I would like it. I went to make one of my friends happy and end up loving it.
But are you going to eat all of this meat?
Yeah, some I'm gonna share with friends.
So
absolutely.
At the end of the day, you're replacing meat you would eat anyways. I get it completely,
bro. It's so good.
But
bear meat is so good.
I think what it was you're not a guy who killed a bear to eat it. You're GSP, and to a lot of people, you are a teddy bear. Okay, you can get ferocious, but you're everyone's favorite teddy bear, GSP.
I'm a teddy bear, but I punch people in the cage. You know what I mean? You have to expect that I have some demon in my head. You know,
that is also fucking true. Like, yo, what's worse, killing the bear or like beating the shit out of 28 guys?
The package come all together. It doesn't come only in a piece. You can't slice this in half and only take one.
I bet you one of those people. I bet you one of those people that was leaving a comment on that picture, because I saw it and I saw the comments. I bet you one of those people made the comment while eating a big juicy cheeseburger and not thinking about the fact that cow was equally cute. You know what I'm saying? Like 100%. Cows are probably cuter than bears.
Yeah,
they are, especially Norwegian cows. Hey, man, you can't please everyone. You know, bro,
can't even please yourself most times. You could.
Yeah.
Well, if you do, it's because you're a puppet. You're a fake person, and I don't want to be around fake person. You know, I want to be around real people. I have friends that has certain opinion that I don't agree with, but they're my friend and I love them. And when I do something wrong, they're gonna tell me. They're not gonna tell me, what I want to hear. They're gonna tell me the truth. Yeah. And I think it's the key to stay humble in life. You know, hang out with real people.
Real people like Boss Rutan.
Oh, Bass is the best. Bass is the best. Oh, yeah.
We want to have him on the show at some point, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's going on? Have you been doing any more karate combat stuff? Or have you?
Yeah, they just renewed the contract. I'm waiting to see when it's going to be next time. I'm more of an entrepreneur nowadays. I have a home fitness equipment that exploded during COVID, with base blocks, the pro line. I got a...
What is it?
Base blocks. It's a kinesthetics. It's and I have equipment. It's a fitness equipment.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you can do chin up. You can have it have a gym in your house.
Let's go.
In your home. I have also a food supplement, Warrior Heart and Liver. You talk about nutrition, animal nutrition. It's from grass-fed beef from New Zealand. Heart and liver. It's animal organs, the most nutritious thing. I have a online betting, Bet99. I'm more of a hot sauce that just came out.
Whoa! That I'm interested.
Yeah, hot sauce. It's a Rush and the KO. I love my food spicy, so I just came out with a hot sauce. I have also a clothing company that I just started, still standing strong. It's more we're inspired by people that face adversity in life, and a part of it, it's given to charity. I have instructional videos. I have
GSP, what's
movies.
going on?
I'm very busy.
How do you have? You have everything.
Crazy.
You're a conglomerate.
But I prepared my aftercare. So the problem is a lot of athletes, they don't prepare the aftercare. So they get out and they have nothing, and they feel their life is empty. So I prepared it. And I'm very lucky. I have a very strong team around myself that surround me, that are real people, that tells me the real thing, not what I want to hear. That I have good advisor, and I feel very blessed. You know, I'm very lucky. You know,
I want to ask you about karate, because karate is an interesting discipline to me as someone who doesn't really understand karate, other than these videos that I see on Instagram of like a karate expert versus like a boxer or like an MMA fighter.
Yeah,
and man, the karate guys are just getting fucking whooped, man. Whooped.
It depends. If you change the rules, change the game. I'll give you an example. Boxing, it's a great sport. I'm a fan of boxing, but it's a very limited form of fighting, boxing. Just if you had clinching into boxing, it will change the entire game. You know what I mean? Your elbows.
Yeah.
Just in UFC, look back in the days. You were maybe too young to remember this, but Mark Coleman.
Yep.
He used to be champion in UFC. His thing was to take people down. He was one of the best wrestlers in UFC. Take people down, control the inside, and they call him the Hammer. The reason why they call him the Hammer is because he used his head as a weapon. Boom!
Damn.
Yeah. You're no longer allowed to do that.
Yeah.
But if you bring back that rule, it changes everything.
Yep.
Because now the guys, they use the guard in a different way. They control the arm, and because you're not allowed to hit with the head, but the head can be used as a weapon.
Yep.
So as soon you change one rule, you change the game.
Okay.
So people will say, "Oh, boxing are better than this, or karate are better than that, or taekwondo." Like, boxing are the best at boxing. Karate are the best at karate.
I see.
MMA is well-rounded. It's a mix of everything. You know what I mean?
I
Jiu-jitsu, it's jiu-jitsu. There's move in jiu-jitsu that works in jiu-jitsu competition, but that will never works in MMA because you'll get knocked out. You know,
the parameters of the sport are important, is what you're saying. That makes sense. But
it's same thing. Look, a baseball athlete when he go play softball. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
I've seen that multiple times. Guys that are very good in baseball, you think, oh, he's gonna kill it in softball. The guys are just amateur. He end up getting strike three times.
Wow.
Every time, because the ball doesn't come like this, it comes like this. And the distance is different, it's bigger. It change one thing, it changes everything. Same thing in combat sport.
I guess for the combat sports though, I'm just talking about like hey, fight, go fight, you know, and I'm not sure, like maybe educate me. This is the question, like the discipline of karate, how useful is it in a real life fighting scenario?
There's different kinds of karate. There's Shotokan. I did Kyokushinkai, but I did different style. I did Kyokushinkai and point fight. I think for distance control, to learn the distance control, the point fight are the best, because the goal of point fight, you will say it's just touch. It's a one-time thing, but they're the best at controlling the distance and they're so fast. So when I trained for Michael Bisping, I did a lot of point fight karate training, because the way they move way faster than mixed martial art fighters, because their game is all about touch. They don't care what happened after you touch, because they win. They don't care how they land. But because they're so good at controlling the distance, I use that in my training to enhance the distance control. So I can gain everything by practicing one specific combat sport. There's always something that I can take away from it and put it in my pocket. Taekwondo, people will say, oh, Taekwondo is bullshit. Man, Taekwondo, they have the best spinning back kick of all martial arts. And which, by the way, the spinning back kick is probably the strongest strike that a human can deliver. A guy that has a good spinning back kick, my friend, you get hit with it, you're gone, man. It can kill you. A real good Taekwondo athlete that hit you with a spinning back kick, it could be very lethal. Of course, there's things in Taekwondo that are no use for MMA in a real fight. But keep in mind that MMA, it's not really a real fight. A real fight, man, is headbutt, eye gouge, everything, biting.
Nuts.
There's a record in MMA back in the day in ancient Greece used to be called pancration. There's written record of a guy that used to take people's back, and they used to fight back in the day, by the way. The rules used to be different. They used to fight naked. And there's a guy that used to take people's back, and what his thing was to break his opponent's finger so he cannot defend the choke and go with the rear naked choke.
Ooh.
So imagine how fucking violent.
Yeah, some real shit.
Yeah. So imagine I fight, I take your back, I break your finger so you cannot defend.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a theory. They did it for almost 1,000 years back then, over 800 years. Look how much it has evolved over only a few decades for us. And imagine, back in the day, it was so important. They used to stop wars to send their best athletes.
Yeah.
Imagine how good they were back then.
Do you think you could beat a gladiator?
I don't know. That's my point. I have no idea. I mean, a gladiator is after, I'm talking about ancient Greece, but it's still a similar era. Maybe they still had they had knowledge. We think we invented stuff. Oh, they don't know about Umber. We think we're so great. Man, they had that figured out.
Do you think they had their own Dana White?
Well, they had Julius Caesar back then. Yeah, but my point is, a lot of the stuff that we think we know that we're the best version of humanity maybe is bullshit, man, in terms of knowledge. Look at the pyramids. Look at Baalbek, man, the temple, like the platform under the temple of Jupiter, Sacsayhuaman, Machu Picchu. We terrorize, oh, they did it like this with ramp and this and that. You ask some engineers, that's the archaeologist, but ask an engineer or a mason about it. He'll tell you like, man, I don't know how they freaking do it, man. We think we're the
alpha,
alpha, the most, like, I think in certain sphere, in certain areas, they were smarter than us.
Podcasting. So, I assure you that there was never a better Mesopotamian podcast.
Yeah,
like,
no way.
we are the best podcasters of all time
100%.
right now. And if AI takes over, we will be second place.
Dude, sometimes when I'm working out and, training and I'm getting the right amount of calories in me and I get good rest with my sleep pad that's chilled and I listen to my rant and like, man, I have this regimen that is perfect for training to become a specimen so I can wrestle.
You think you can beat GSP?
No, I was going to say, like, I just think like in the old days, like the gladiators or like, in ancient Greece, the Spartans, how did they train and how did they recover? What did they eat? Did they have people preparing food for them? Like, you ever think about that? Coming from like someone who is an athlete and has the comforts of modern day society to become the best athlete you can be, like, how do you train like thousands of Spartan soldiers in a world where like you just don't have resources or knowledge of how to take care of your body? Or did they? I don't know.
I know the gladiator were slaves. I know in ancient Greece, which was before they had pancreation in Greece, but they also the Spartan rule were different, were even more rough. You were basically allowed to bite, to do everything. Man, I don't know how you train, man. How much they must have had a much shorter career.
Well,
I mean,
also,
you're probably.
I can't see any other way.
You're definitely right.
Oh,
You're
God,
like late teens, early 20s type shit, and then you're either dead or like cooked.
But also think about it too. Like he's talking about like sleeping on like a cooling pad and like all this stuff to train the best. These dudes were kept in fucking cages, like animals. So when you let them out, their training was ferociousness. It was hunger and thirst.
I think one of the key for recuperation is sleep. And a lot of guys sometimes they tell me, oh, I've done everything right. My volume of training is not so high. I don't understand. I feel tired. I eat well. How come I don't recuperate as well? I'm like, because it has maybe nothing to do with the volume of training or what you have done as a training. Maybe it's your life. We talk about the stress. The society now has changed. We're exposed to different kinds of stress. Think about it. When you're stressed in life, your cortisol rises.
Yep.
Your testosterone diminishes because it's the nemesis. And it's like a cycle. It's not that you overtrain, you're under rest. So a lot of young guys in the gym, sometimes they come to me and say, hey, do you have an advice for me? I'm like, well, look at your life. If your life is not in order, you have problem maybe with your wife, your girlfriend, or like personal issue, it will have an effect on your career, on your recuperation, because you can't be 100%. You cannot be you cannot expect to be 100% if your mind is not right. It's all connected. Your physique, your mind, it's all connected. Your emotion. If your head is not there, the rest will collapse, man. It's there's no way around it.
You got to throw that brick in the river.
So but I think maybe back then they had a different mindset. They didn't have the same stress that we had.
Just different stress. Like
yeah.
we were not meant to have this many opinions, this many people in our phone, our ear, our text message, all these stupid inputs that just don't matter. It was supposed to be like 12 people in the village, and you talk to them, and you get your food, and you do your work, and you go to sleep.
Maybe life was more simple.
Now it's like now you know everything Elon Musk thinks.
Yeah.
Like do you know what I'm saying? We weren't supposed to know that he thinks Trump was on the island or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like we weren't supposed to know all that shit, dude.
I don't know. Maybe we were.
No, it's true. It changes. A lot of things. I mean, I'm not an instinctionist. I mean, I love society, and I think it's important to have kids to expand and to reach the limit of
depopulation is like, bro, people are falling in love with robots
on their phones, and
wait till they're humanoid, and reproduction is going to be a thing of the past. It simply will. Like humans will not be producing other humans at the rate that we had in the past. And like, you know, it could take 2 generations before we like simply die out because we're replaced by superior beings that are just the best versions of machines.
100%. And also, if we don't, like Elon Musk says it, if we don't leave the planet sooner or later, we're gonna get hit by an asteroid or a super volcano.
Yeah. You know what?
Something will happen,
man. Dude. Let it happen, dude. Seriously, bro. We're gonna be.
Maybe it happened before and we don't know.
Maybe it already happened.
Younger Dryas, bro. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, have you?
74,000 years ago, Toba volcano erupted. There has been many mass extinctions.
GSP, are we dead right now?
I don't know.
You prepared to bug out? You a doomsday prepper?
I'm not a doomsday prepper, but I think it's always important to foresee the worst case scenario. I prefer to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in a war.
Wow. Yeah. I love that saying. I get it. I almost named the company after it.
It's not me who said it, by the way, but it's true.
It's incredible. Okay, but
it's true.
Where's your garden? Like you got to think about these things.
My parents from a countryside. I come from a place. It's 3,000 people. I hunt. I just got introduced quite recently. It's a new passion for me. I think it's important. I like to live, basic, like I have my parent has a garden in the back, and I think if something go bad, I go back to my parents.
Okay, so you go
I bring all the family and everything and let's go.
Self-sustaining. You got that bear meat now, you're good.
Yeah, for a little time.
Something to think about. I don't know.
What is your plan?
You first off, you don't say your plan. So that was okay. You don't say your plan, but I do have like things in place, and if I ever make any more money in my life, I'm gonna spend it all on being ready to bug out if shit hits the fan. Because I just think things are getting so weird, dude. I think it's a crazy time to be a human, and one little tip of the iceberg could send our species into some sort of World War catastrophic.
I love how people like always think this, but in reality,
no,
it has always been the case. We have, as humans, we have always been on the brink of something. We've always been on the brink of nuclear war. There was a Cold War. There was World War II. There was World War I. There was this. There was the Great Depression and stuff. There's always something going on. I think the best way to go about it is the way that I go about it, which is I plan to go out with the first wave of people. So I actually have send the nuke. I live in the city that I think will get hit by the first nuke. I intend on having no fucking strategy whatsoever. You paint me as the target with the laser for the nuke. Like, put the nuke into my face, dude, okay? Y'all go and figure out how to live with uranium poisoning. Have fun. I'll see y'all at the next location, okay? I'm gone, dude. I'm out.
I think our ability to destroy the world is dangerous now because of technology. We like someone can press a button and the whole thing goes out. But in the same time, I think if we look through time in history, I think we live in a time. I mean, it's not okay to say that because there's wars right now and there's areas that are it's unfortunate. But we live in a time where we have access to more resources. We can live. We live better now than than kings you used to live.
Oh, for sure.
Actually,
Yeah, I can snap my finger. I have food coming from Alaska that like a sushi and then with a wagyu beef from like kings back then didn't have that.
No, of course not.
Yeah, we have access to things that can enhance our life in a crazy way. But at the same time, we have also the capability of destroying ourselves. And is very concerning.
And perhaps that's why the UFOs are here now more than ever. Are you?
I don't know, man. I think they've been there, they've been coming, or they've been here for a very long time. Look at some of the thing in the past, some of this
100%. They've been here for, I mean, as long as humans have, or whoever has been recording history. Like literally, they're on the hieroglyphics in cave drawings. But there's a really strong relationship and correlation between UFOs and nukes.
Yeah.
And the theory is perhaps like, you know, if okay, so like we know gorillas exist and they're in the jungle, but they probably don't really know what we are, other than we're like different and they're not really capable of understanding anything that we're capable of understanding. But we can watch them and make our documentaries about them and observe them and just like study them, right? There's a chance that the higher intelligence is doing the same thing to us, except here's the thing now. The gorillas have developed nuclear weapons capable of destroying the planet. And if it is a break-off civilization on this planet, or a version of us or humanity that has somehow gotten hyper advanced, it would make sense that they would be a little wary
War of the Worlds.
Of us essentially destroying their home as well.
A lot of people in ufology believe that the fact that we detonate nukes, it has an effect to the magnitude of the galaxy that we don't understand. And that's why they're here, because the data seems to indicate that near nuclear installation, and there's even a report that has been declassified that are accessible that show that there are certain military base where where UAP sort of, they don't know if they did it, but they knew there were UAP around, and they kind of they lose contact with the control of the and in Russia there's a report that they mentioned that they activate and they they turn it on, and at the last moment they turn it off. Danny Sheehan told me that, and Danny Sheehan is a reliable source. Like
that's a well-documented case.
Yeah. So why would they declassify it? Why would they tell us that? Is it is it to distract us from something else? That's the thing. I don't know. I want to believe, but man, I need proof in a way, you know?
Saying I don't know is extremely powerful. I don't know.
Well, especially for us. We're not getting any of the real data. We're just three guys. Bro. I have tendonitis. You know what I'm saying? I'm more worried about what's going on with my elbow than the fucking nukes right now. You got any plans for tendonitis? I've never had that before, dude. This shit sucks, dude. I did too much pull, like the row, and it's like ripped on my elbow.
God.
What can I do, GSP?
Wear a brace at night.
A brace at night?
Have you ever, you don't look like the type of guy who will do it, but I will suggest you, have you ever tried fasting?
I do intermittent fasting every day.
So no, I'm talking about the prolonged fasting.
3-day
water fast. It will help you.
You know what I'm going to do?
Because it take away the inflammation.
I'm going to cheat the system, and I'm going to go back to Brigham Bueller.
And he's the
Brigham
best.
will take care of me.
Brigham is the best. But you can do that, or you do 3-day water fast. It increases your growth hormone production and reduce your inflammation.
Hey man,
it's worth investigating, man. Trust me. And nobody makes money with fasting, but it freaking works.
Who knows if
I heal
here right now?
I heal my.
I
had a bad ulcer colitis, and I still have, but I have no more. I don't have any symptoms anymore. it saves me. After when I retire, I retire. One of the reasons is also I had ulcer colitis, and I was on heavy medication because it's an inflammation of the colon. So I get introduced to fasting, and I thought it was bullshit. When I tried it, man, it changed my life. I wish I would have known that before. And now I don't have any symptoms. I can drink, I can eat whatever I want.
That's amazing.
It changes me. It's worth trying.
It's just so hard.
It's hard, but everything is hard. Everything that is good for you, bro, is hard.
Yeah.
You need to put the work into it. Everything, nothing comes easy, man.
What's the longest?
Things that comes easy, it's a treat, and you pay for it later on.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like that, man. Life sucks, man, but that's how it is sometimes, you know?
What's the longest you ever fasted?
5 days.
5. Oh, you did
Yeah.
5. You know, I heard one 7-day fast could result in like a 70 or 80% reduction of cancer-causing cells in your body.
Yeah, I've read
It's
that
called autophagy.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, because your body has no calorie to burn, so it turns into itself, and your
it
body
eats the bad cells.
exactly.
I just did 3 days recently. I can do 3 days, but anything past that, dude, I start to get. I have no energy. Do you do all water or do you add electrolytes?
The last I've done, it was quite recently. I do 4 times a year. For me, it's therapeutic. I do before summer, after summer, before the holidays, after the holidays, because I love my life. I like to enjoy my life. Sometimes I drink, I party, and it's fun. You know, I train, but I'm not a monk. And I'm also paranoid about cancer. I'm afraid about that because in my family there's an historic of cancer linked to digestive system, and I have an ulcer colitis, so it makes me more paranoid. So to counter that, I do fasting, and what happened when you do 3 days? If you do 3 days, for me, what I experienced is the first day I have spike of insulin. I'm very hungry. It's the hardest part is the first 36 hours. But after that, the hunger goes away, but I become very weak. So what I do is I take salt in the palm of my hand and I lick salt and I drink water. So it helps me to stay hydrated. It prevents dehydration.
Oh yeah, try
these. Take some of those home.
Nice. Oh, thank you.
Rapid
I'll try it.
That has the sodium, the electrolytes.
No sugar. That's perfect. So you don't break your fast. It's great.
That counts. I live by
because it's important. So what happened is then you're hungry, then you're weak, but then the third day something happened. It's called the hunter-gatherer reflex. You have a regain of energy. You're very creative, very excited in a way that it's like your hunter-gatherer reflex came out because you know your body needs to eat now. So all your senses, you drive your car, you pass by a McDonald's, you feel the freaking burger, man. Yeah, you would never feel it in the real time, but because you're in a fasting mode, it increases, it heightens your senses, and that's the hunter-gatherer reflex. It's very interesting. I love it.
I'm ready to eat right now. I'm gonna go eat something right now, dude. But you are right, 100%.
Do it, man. Do it like for a few times. It might help you with inflammation. I used to have a problem with my toes. I had inflammation. Yeah. My toes used to hurt me, and I've tried everything. And when I fasted, the problem went away. It never came back. My inflammation was gone after the 3 days, and it never came back. And I thought it happened because I kicked wrong at one point or something. Yeah.
How many times have you done Rogan?
I think I've done 3-4 times. I know Joe for a very long time.
I was gonna ask you, you have not only in octagon stamina, but you have podcast stamina too, because you're you could bro.
I feel like you're just warming up.
No, yeah,
you guys are very, very interesting. And by the way, what you guys do is great. You give platform to people they can be heard. You receive athletes, and then Joe does the same thing. It's good for athletes, especially in mixed martial art. I'm retired now, so it's different. But guys that are up and comer, it's good that you guys give them opportunity to be seen and to promote themselves, promote their product. And for that, thank you for what you guys do. It's great.
Of course. And dude, thank you for joining us and blessing us with your presence. What an amazing episode and super cool for me being a lifelong fan, dude. Appreciate your time, dude. Georges St-Pierre, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Brother, I never do this. I would love to get connected, grab your number, and just shoot the shit on the side.
I'll send you some stuff right now that might interest you.
Woo!
No, real stuff. Real stuff.
Sick.
Yeah,
Sick.
yeah,
Better
I'll
than
tell
my
you.
bullshit,
Yeah.
bro.
I'm gonna
If you like, I'll feed you. I'll feed you with some
Yeah,
stuff.
you should, bro. We have a little
Yeah.
back and forth.
Then I'll feed you with some stuff.
Conspiracy theories.
I'm group,
it's
I'm
not.
group
It,
chatting you.
Stuff I'm gonna say is not conspiracy. It's
Good.
It's well documented.
yeah.
It's declassified and
Cool.
it's hidden in plain sight. You have it.
I love it.
Hey, thanks to Fanatics. Oh, Fanatic, no, but
And the WWE
and
crew.
Fanatics and WWE
and
together.
Fanatics. And us.
And us,
Now
and
together.
Fanatics, and
Together
WWE.
then, now, forever. Together. Woo! Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. Peace.